This video is going to be really controversial, and I'm probably going to get a bunch of dumb comments. People basically putting down their mother's intelligence or their grandmother's intelligence without even knowing they're doing it. It's what happened last time. Let's redefine what a beginner-friendly distro is, because the current meaning does not apply anymore, because Linux has moved beyond Linux Mint. It's moved beyond Ubuntu 24.04 long-term service. It's moved beyond Zorin OS. It's moved beyond Debian, even Debian 13. It's more updated, but still it's not there yet. But it's more updated than Mint, so it can count as a distro to be used. Oh, so where do we even begin with this? Now, I was having a conversation with a friend of mine, and it all started with what was a beginner-friendly distro. Something you could just dump into that works, that doesn't have to be modern, that because the hardware, the difference is there's no optimizations to really worry about things like that. Then Linux changed, it shifted on its head. It went from not being something optimized for individual sets of hardware to being almost optimized for everyone. That's the crazy part. There was a huge shift the minute Valve started with Proton and we could start gaming, to all distros perform the same almost identically, to wow, that's no longer the case. And then Linux started evolving at a faster and faster and faster and faster pace, that we had more frequent security updates, and hardware got more support, and everything just started evolving out of control. And now we're at the point where Linux Mint is bad for your hardware, mainly because it doesn't bring you the optimizations that it should. It's got outdated Wayland, it's got outdated core packages and stuff on the core that are miles ahead, months, even years ahead in other distros that help with optimization, and it's lacking core features such as HDR, VRR, and so much more. Even its applications are old as hell that perform so much better. Like, yesterday, I was in Linux Mint because I wanted to take a look around to see if they finally got around to updating Wayland, because they're releasing a new version. There's a video going out about that very soon. And I opened up the calculator, and I was surprised because this bit right here, it was not stretched to the full screen. Like, it was like here. It was like half of it. And then the rest of the UI was all squashed and weird and like just... And then I looked at it and like, this doesn't look the same at all. And I realized there's a reason for that. It's running version 41 instead of anything even remotely close to modern. And then I realized that Mint, Cinnamon, doesn't have its own applications. Instead, it relies on Gnome for its applications, and it freezes it in time. 41 is ancient. Whether you want to believe it or not, it's missing a lot of new modern features, which could help programmers and other people alike to move forward. But we're not talking about them, are we? We're talking about beginners. Now, if a beginner is on modern hardware, what should they think about? Well, they want their hardware to work. They want their hardware to perform the best of its ability. And right there, Mint is out of the question. Mint does not offer the latest updated support. It doesn't have the latest Linux firmware. It doesn't have all of this stuff going on that matters. You can install the latest message drivers, but without the rest of the components to go with it, you're missing a key component to having the best performance possible on your system. It's like when people ask me, does my script work on Linux Mint? The answer is yes, but you're gonna suffer getting there because the dependencies are kind of out of date. So what you see is performing in my video, where I have it up and running, it's working, it's flawless. That might not happen on your system because you're running outdated dependencies that Affinity requires to have in Wine and other things, and it could lead to basically a cluster of chaos. And then you have people that are like, what about DaVinci's Resolve? It's going to work, but you're not going to get the best performance possible. You're going to be stuck to X11, which is a problem because DaVinci's Resolve started evolving to where X11 would be really choppy and weird when I was editing, and I switched over to Wayland and it would flash and flicker, but I found a way around that. And the rendering would be smooth, and it would go from limiting me to about 250 to 300 to letting me go all the way up to 400 FPS when rendering out on my GPU. So Wayland just instantly performs better, and I'm just sitting here thinking to myself, well, this is nice. I can't wait for explicit sync to be merged. And when it finally got merged, that made me jump to Linux. So Linux Mint is out of the question these days for beginner coming to Linux. And the main reason why is it's just not good for your hardware, period. It's not going to offer you the best performance because most people are coming from modern desktops now because people are just realizing that their older hardware is not cutting it in games these days. So about most of the time, you're getting a user with a 3060, not an AMD GPU, a 3060, and you need to realize that that's the GPU that people are running the most now. So those are NVIDIA users. They do not want to be on Mint. There's no explicit sync whatsoever. It is X Wayland 22.3.6. That has no explicit sync whatsoever. So if you switch to Wayland, and gaming is so much better on Wayland, by the way, you're going to get this weird choppy, like ghosting going on, and it's really ugly. It's not a good experience. Not to mention that they're building their Wayland backend on something that's ancient. You don't want that because in the long run, it's going to end up hurting them. I came to the conclusion what is honestly still the best beginner-friendly distros. But first, we have to talk about Ubuntu. We have to talk about Zorin. Zorin is just Ubuntu with a pretty theme. That's all it is. At the core, it's just Ubuntu. They don't do anything different. They never have, they never will. You can get that theme, that look anywhere. It's the most simple and easy thing to recreate, okay? It's just Gnome with extensions. That's the thing. There's no difference. I've made my entire desktop look like Windows 11 live on stream before. I can make this look like KDE. I can do whatever I want to it. Gnome is so malleable. It is so easy to turn into anything else that people just forget that it beats KDE in customization, and it stays stable at the same time. I can't believe I just did that. And that's the annoying thing, right? People were on Reddit lie to you repeatedly because they're just so low IQ they don't understand that KDE is no longer the king of customization. A while ago, if you applied a certain theme or did a certain thing in KDE, it would wipe your entire home folder. Yeah, remember that? Everyone seems to just forget that and sweep that under the rug. That was a thing. And they also forget that KDE is extremely buggy. This is a known fact. They get like about 700 to 800 bug reports a day, give or take. So, great. That's a great recommendation there. But again, Zorin is just Ubuntu with Gnome extensions. There is nothing special about the distro whatsoever. And Ubuntu is out of the question because it has snaps. Snaps are bigger than normal apps. They come with their own dependencies. While that may seem nice, wrapped in a little package that cannot break, you need to realize you're stuck in that. Okay? Sure, you can install your own native applications and get around it, but you'll always have that glaring realization that you have no control over your system. You can get rid of snaps. They'll come back. Every update, they'll get restored. You have no actual real control over Ubuntu anymore. And it's sad. You can install anything that you want. As long as it's a snap, you can install your native applications, but they're side by side with snaps. So you're always going to have these extra apps just sitting there in the corner staring you down. I ran that the other day too. I have a video, I think, about it that I haven't edited. 25.10 is really up to date. It's actually really, really snappy and fast. I was impressed from the live ISO, but I couldn't get it to install because the installer froze. So there's that. So let's talk about Fedora. Well, it's simple. Wayland first, which is what every distro is going to be going forward with. So that's VRR, that's HDR, and that's a ton of other features that just smooth out the experience with gaming and so much more. Here's an example. Okay, in Cyberpunk, if you play an X Wayland, you'll get some frames. You'll get some performance that you realize is normal, all this stuff, right? But if you switch over to Wayland, you'll gain about 15 FPS. Most people don't know that. And now, if you switch over to Wayland in GNOME 49, you're going to get even better performance. It's going to feel so much cleaner because it's bypassing the compositor. I think KDE does the same thing. I'm not really sure. If it doesn't, it needs to, because that's incredible right there. It helps with latency. It feels so much better. It's like a brand new gaming experience. So Fedora is polished, or at least it used to be. It's getting there again. Okay, don't touch GNOME 4. Don't touch Fedora 43 right now. It is a disaster. I couldn't even get Steam installed. But 42, I have it on another NVMe. I constantly go in and I do testing. Steam opens instantly now. All my bugs are pretty much gone except for the one. I don't remember what it is, but it'll probably be gone really soon. So 42 is back at being a really good stable base, which I'm very proud about. I'm glad that they've got their act together. I just hope they continue it for 43, where that does not become a disaster. Fast updates. Now, people are scared of fast updates. They think fast updates are the worst thing ever. They don't understand that these updates that come with security fixes, they come with bug fixes, they're about stability. They're not about instability. Okay? And here's the thing. If you are worried about those updates, you need to remember there's a forum behind these updates before they go out. Each update is tested before it's pushed. Or that's at least the old philosophy was. I mean, I did some looking into other parts of Fedora, and that seems to be what they're doing again. So it's really a balance, I guess, that they're trying to maintain. And the best part, there's no snaps. Okay. Now we're going to talk about Pikaos. And I think this is probably going to be the core of the talk right here, because I don't talk enough about Pikaos 4. So it's built off of Debian. Okay, but it's up to date with Arch Linux, the packages wise, so you get the latest security updates, you get everything you need, and it's constantly paid attention to. That's the cool part. So it's Debian, but done right. So it's stable, it's fast, it's efficient. I know people have had issues with it in the past. Those people, the minute they have issues, they jump ship, they don't report them. If you have an issue with the distro that you're using, report it. Oh, that's rich coming from me, right? Right, I did report my issue. On 3 separate occasions, and it was ignored every time. Yeah. We were just told, turn off split lock. Oh, and I don't mean about Pikaos. That's about something else. So, here's the thing. You get Wayland, and it's very good Wayland. You get your pipe wire. You can do flat packs if you want. You have updated GNOME. You have updated KDE. It's amazing for gaming. I just did a reinstallation, and the new installer is amazing. What it does is it runs you through everything. You connect to your network. It asks you if you want this. It deals with your drivers. It deals with Steam. It deals with all your gaming packages, but it's a choice it gives you. Okay? If you don't want any gaming packages, you don't have to use any. Pikaos is incredible. And not only that, but it's got Neri, it's got a Hyperland, it's got GNOME, it's got KDE. It's off the charts amazing. And mainly because it's Debian, it's really simple to learn, to use, and learning your way, navigating through things is really simple and simplistic. So you don't really have that much of an issue. And the best part is, if you wanted to, you could jump right in with the Hyperland ISO and just get right to work. So that's pretty cool. I got to admit, even like talking about it last night in the CachyOS Discord, it made me just want to jump in. And the best part is, it doesn't have Ring 0. Yeah, I spent like 3-4 hours gaming last night on it. It was nice, no issues. So CachyOS is Arch-based. It's built off of Arch. Okay, it still has the Arch repos enabled. They're just underneath CachyOS repos, and stuff still comes from the Arch repos, okay? It has optimization for, I think it's normal CPUs, V2, V3, V4. I guess, yeah, V4 is the current new one, which also covers Zen 4 and Zen 5. V3, I believe, covers Zen 2 and 3. I don't know much about Intel and how they work, but I think most Intel CPUs fall under V3 because they don't really have AVX 512 as much as they should. So I don't know how exactly the scale works, but there it is. It has the AUR, which is currently being DDoSed to hell and back, by the way. I wonder if it actually works right now. You know what? Let's put some stuff on the screen. Yay. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Okay, cool. It works. That's great. And then I'm going to just do a fast fetch here up on the screen for you. So that's pretty awesome that the AUR is back up temporarily right now. Hopefully it stays up. That'd be great. It also comes with great applications, GUI applications that do system updates if you need them to. Installing packages, things like that. It has a kernel manager. So if you want to swap to a different kernel to see if it's better for your performance or not, you could do that. There's just so many things that are in there. It's a great start for anyone, period. Not only that, it's at the top of the list for DistroWatch as one of the most used distros currently today, which is great. And it's constantly growing. It even shows in the Steam charts. That's how much it's being pushed. And it's being pushed for a reason. It's because it's so damn good. It's so well-rounded. It has a Hello store that allows you to like install specific applications, tweaks. It has a single one-click button for installing Steam, Lutris, so on and so forth. It handles all your dependency issues. It out of the box takes care of NVIDIA users, which is huge. Well, so does Pikaos, but it has a separate ISO for that. It is really, really, really good to see how well of a distro it is. It's great. And then we have the big daddy, Arch Linux, which I have a different opinion on this, but it is the big dog when it comes to being beginner friendly. And it is this way because it teaches you modern Linux. The installation for it is scary at first, but if you try it in a VM at first, figure the way you like it, you know, learn it more and more, by the time you actually go to install it on real hardware, you're a moderate Linux user. That's the fun part. It has a wiki, pretty straightforward, easy to learn. It has more video guides on it than anything you'll ever find. It is one of the best teaching tools imaginable. Okay, hands down. And it even has its own installer afterwards. If you're like, yeah, I've learned how to install it by hand, I want to get this done in under 3 minutes, you can do that. It's called Arch Install. It's incredible. Like, I don't think you guys have any idea how amazing of a teaching tool Arch Linux can really be. It out-teaches any other distro. I guess besides Gen 2. Gen 2's just harsh, though. Yeah, there used to be a joke, an insider with a bunch of friends of mine, that Gen 2's for pregnant teens. Because their life is already screw up and chaotic enough as it is. Why not just throw in Gen 2 to make it even worse? And then there's Linux from scratch, but we don't talk about that. That's a curse. That's a curse on humanity right there. Do I have Arch installed at all? No. Sudo pacman -s Arch install. Do I recommend Arch install for the first time for installing? Hell no. No, not by a long shot. And the main reason being is you're not really going to learn much. You can do it just to install things. You'll have your NVIDIA drivers, you'll have your AMD drivers, you'll have Gnome, KDE, Cinnamon, Cosmic. It has them all. But it's not something that you should do. The first time should be you boot up the ISO, you have a blank window. 1 second, let me just like... What? Why is that over there? Why is it not going to the right friggin' screen? Can I like just... Thank you. Okay, so imagine this. Let's kill the A. Okay. Let's do it clear. This is it. Not really, because again, this is not what normal bash looks like. But you boot up, you're met with this. You could just type Arch install. Right? Of course it needs admin privileges. And it's going to fetch the Arch Linux package database. It's going to check for the version. It's going to do all that stuff for you. And there you go. There's your installer. And I have videos on this. Okay, it's a great little tool. But a normal vanilla Arch installed by hand, you have this, and you have to find your disks. So I think it's fdisk-l. Right? There you go. I have a lot of disks. You might have less, you might have more. But there we go. Let's choose this one as what we want. And then it's something like this. I think it's gdisk, I think, or something like that. No? What is the command? I know it's a disk command. I always forget. 1 second. Well, I don't need to explain this to you. I have a guide up on YouTube. It's still completely relevant for installing Linux from scratch, just like this. It's super easy, simplistic to do. It's pretty cool. The hardest thing is going out of your comfort zone to learn. What you may not remember is that at one point in time, you had to learn Windows. You had to learn your phone, okay? You had to learn the buttons on the controller. Right there, see? Controller. Okay? You had to learn how to use Google TV at one point. You had to learn to use a light switch. You had to learn to use a monitor. You had to learn to use a keyboard. You had to learn to use everything around you at one point. Linux is no different. Mac OS is no different. Windows is no different. At one point in time, it all had to be learned. And one is not harder than the other. It's all the same. The only difference is it's up to you whether to decide if there's more steps than the other guy. Like if I wanted to right now, I could install Arch Linux on this USB drive and carry it around with me and plug it in everywhere and just boot it up and go. I've learned how to do that. I've taken my time. I've spent the many years going from someone who knew nothing about Linux, knowing a lot about Linux, and I'm still learning to know even more about Linux, and I'm sharing my thoughts and my experiences. So what was a beginner distro is no longer a beginner distro. It is a bad choice. Ubuntu, Zorin, Mint. They're all just Kubuntu, you name it. They're all the same goddamn thing. They're one mistake after the next. Okay? Replace them all with Pikaos 4 and you're good to go. Because at least it stands apart from everything else. At least it will teach you how to be a moderate Linux user. It will handle things for you. It's amazing. So if you're one of those people that are used to sudo apt install or things like that, or you need a GUI package manager, you need a GUI for updating, you need a GUI for dealing with your kernel, you just need a GUI period, you need to be taken care of with NVIDIA drivers, AMD drivers, Mesa drivers, you want all of that. And you need your sudo apt. Pikaos 4 replaces Mint, Ubuntu, Debian even, okay, I said it, Debian. And it also replaces Zorin, Kubuntu, all of it. It's an all-in-one madman in a box. Bow ties are cool. And if you are one of those people that want to full out learn what modern Linux is, as I mentioned, the terminal is not a scary place to live in. It's stupid easy. I've been making videos on the terminal to try to help teach simple basic commands, how to like get around places just like this, to ls to see all this stuff, right? There's tons of crap here. Like, I have been doing my best to make this stuff known. And what's even better is I've made guides on getting into... Can you like get over on the screen? Where is my channel? Is this my channel? That's my alt channel. Like if we come in here, pause that, you'll notice that I have tons of videos. Like this is for me, Arch guides, apps, and rants. Like you'll find so much stuff in here. And then where's my other playlists? Quick shell, making the tutorial not so scary. Arch Linux guides. There's 29 videos in there, by the way. Fedora guides. There's 22 videos in there, by the way. Teaching DNF for beginners. That's how to learn Fedora. I've gotten like so much stuff. There's the CachyOS stuff, and learning Arch Linux series. This one's older, but it's still relevant. Ubuntu. I've done so much stuff, it's ridiculous. There's my music. I'm going to listen to that afterwards. I used to do a ton of Unreal Engine stuff. If you haven't noticed, I was pretty hell-bent on becoming a developer at one point, and I got really, really far into it as well. But then I kind of just gave up and let it sit, because, yeah, there was just no way in hell it was going to succeed. How times have changed, and then I just slowly went into emulation. And then on from there, PC ports, and then went into Linux, and I'm staying at Linux. Oh, such good videos, by the way. I'm going to put those over there. If you haven't heard Aurora live, you need to. The point is, never be afraid to learn something. And don't throw your grandmother and your mother and your dad under the bus and saying, well, they just need something that does this, this, and this. Be a good son. Be a good grandson. And get off your goddamn ass and teach them to be competent people. They are not as dumb as you make them out to be. And that's what you're doing when you say these things about them. You do not understand. Like, older people don't like being called dumb or made out to be dumb. It's not fair. My mom, she runs an entire plant at one point. She was fantastic. She was brilliant. She could learn anything in no time. She was the top of her class in school when she went to college. She's brilliant. Okay? And if she really wanted to, I could sit her down and I could teach her anything. And she would get a hold of it like that. Just like anybody else. As long as you sit down with them, you're face to face with them, you're teaching them, they're gonna learn. That's just how that works. Nobody is dumb. Nobody is stupid. There's no right. There's no dumb questions. There's only dumb answers. Like if you put someone down when you're teaching them, that's bad for you. That looks bad on you. That degrades their ability to be like, maybe I can't do this. They go from I can do this to I can't do this, depending on how you teach somebody. Grandparents are super smart too. They just get frustrated really easily because they come from a generation that just wants things done. No, no, no. But if you give them enough time, they'll absorb anything you throw at them. Like if you have a bad day, they'll sit down, they'll listen, and they'll like run you through. I had a bad day like this once. Here's the story. Here's what I did about it. I don't know if that applies to you now, but maybe it does, maybe it helps. Grandparents are so amazing. All mine are gone now. And it's sad because my grandmother was incredible. All my grandparents were. My family was massive. And I missed them. I only got a short period of time with my grandma. So, and my other grandma was a psychopath. Yeah, who hated children and wanted us dead. So, having at least 2 good grandparents was amazing. You know, my grandfather was, he had his moments, but he was great. You know, he built one of my favorite Christmas decorations. It was a little wooden Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, and he made it by hand. He made a lot of things by hand. And I miss him. He made life worth living, but he also absorbed information like crazy. It runs in my family to just be able to learn new things really quickly and go. Okay? And anybody, if they have the patience and a great 2 reading level, can do the same thing. You just have to be able to be caring and loving enough to teach these things. If you know something, put your knowledge out there. Bye, guys. Oh, this is going to cause me a shitstorm, or this is going to get the point across. Again, stop recommending Linux Mint as beginner friendly. It's not. You're just putting people in a hellhole.